afternoon, listeners. Welcome to the OmCast, the show where we get raw, authentic, and weird. Today's special guest is the one and only Ty Jackson.
What's up?
He is an entrepreneur, artist, filmmaker. I met him on a cruise, a network marketing cruise 2 years ago, and we're here in Lexington, Kentucky, shooting a really cool show that has been brewing in your creative oven for a couple of years now. And Ty is he's also a father and just an inspiration to many, and I'm just so excited to have you on the show today, man. Thank you.
I'm happy to be here,
Yeah.
dude. Heck yeah.
Yeah, we just had this like jam-packed 10-hour shoot yesterday, and we're gonna inspire some people. It's gonna be pretty dope.
We had a jam-packed 10-hour shoot that we rocked. Dude, our team is freaking awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we had a plan. There was a structure, but we just allowed everything to happen, and everybody had such a good time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But what I wanted to talk about today is I think that you have such a strong foundation in like how to manifest things in your life. And he's also, his Instagram handle is Ty the Believe Guy. And he's always about, the belief that you have in yourself is so important in creating what you want to create in your life. And I'd love to hear how that came about. Because you're not born into this world knowing that you have all this power, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Absolutely not. So, I grew up in New York, and it was very fast paced. I found myself getting into trouble a lot as a youngster, and through the years, I would always ask myself, like, why are you doing all these crazy things? Like, why are you constantly getting in trouble? Why are you showing out? And when I took a deeper look into it, it was because of like my lack of confidence. So in lack of confidence, I acted out as a way to seem confident. You see what I'm saying? And so when as I began to peel back the layers, as time went on, as I began to peel back the layers, I had to ask myself, like, well, why is that? And that's when I came to the fact of, well, it's because of lack of belief. And so if you ask anyone, do you believe in yourself? Everybody's gonna be like, hell yeah, I believe in myself. But if you watch their actions, you can tell when a person truly believes in themselves and when they don't. And some people will, like I said, out of lack of confidence, they'll act as if they're confident. And some people, out of lack of belief, and lack of confidence, they will allow that to stop them from doing things. They won't take chances. And that's where many people, unfortunately, are in life. And so I made it a point to really dig deep into the psychology of why we do the things we do and study that. And what I found is that most people don't believe in themselves. And it keeps them from living a fulfilled life.
Yes, it's like the one hurdle that's stopping them from creating what they really want to create in their life.
Absolutely. Guys don't approach the girl because they feel, I'm too short, I'm too fat, I'm too ugly, I'm not smart enough.
Every reason.
Guys won't, girls or women, whoever, they won't start that business, they won't write that book, they won't, we were just talking a second ago about taking imperfect action because of all the thoughts that are in our mind, like, well, what if? Don't what if, Many times, I say this to my daughter all the time and my son, when you do the little bunny ears with the light and it projects, it always projects bigger on the wall than what it is. And that's what we do in our minds. We make what if it goes wrong? We make the problem so big in our mind when in reality, they're the size of our fingers.
Yeah, it's just a
they
thought.
just project.
Yes.
We project them as bigger. And then when things actually unfold, it's like, oh, that wasn't that bad. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like before the shoot, you were worried.
Yes,
You're like,
I was so stressed.
You're like, what if this happens? What if this happens? And then
I didn't even sleep good that night before because I was like, oh my God, what if it doesn't turn out right? What if we don't get the right shots? What if I don't ask the right questions? And I created this big monster. And it didn't.
Nothing. Yeah, it went
off without a hitch.
There's no hiccups in the shoot yesterday at all.
Not one.
So it's crazy how the mind can just like create these things that literally stop you in your tracks, right?
Yeah, we create excuses. I said something on my Facebook a while ago. I said, if you keep swallowing excuses, you're gonna keep burping up bullshit or something like that, And it's true because we're the masters of feeding ourselves excuses. But a lot of times the excuses that we feed ourselves these excuses because it keeps us safe.
Yep.
You know, our bodies are very smart. Our bodies it breathes on its own. You know, our lungs breathe on their own. Our hearts beat. Imagine if we had to remember like to breathe and you know. So and our bodies know like, okay, when we're going to push into a new territory of something new, our body knows it's that fight or flight. It's like, whoa.
Discomfort.
Exactly.
Unfamiliar.
And it's like, hold on, let me keep you safe.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so it
Yep.
throws up like that warning to like, hey, maybe you should just relax right here. And if we don't identify that, no, okay, I understand we're trying something new, but on the other side of trying that is where, you know, our glory is where we blossom. If we just listen to our body that's trying to keep us safe, we'll never take chances.
Yep.
We'll
Yep.
never take chances.
Yep.
And it leads to an unfulfilled life.
Yep. Yeah, the mind and the ego stop so many artists, like so many people have so many beautiful ideas, right?
Yeah.
And they don't even get to like, the seed doesn't ever get to pop out of the ground because
Absolutely.
the belief isn't there, right? The belief is like the nutrients for the seed for it to grow.
Yeah, I always say, you know, and you've heard it a million times, but I always say that. And every time I finish one of my videos, I always say, in order to achieve, you've got to believe. And that's so true.
Yeah, it's like your mantra.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like what you're about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Ty hangs out with like really high level network marketers and coaches, and he gets to film all these events. So he's soaking up this knowledge all the time, and just like you live and breathe it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. And, you know, like we were talking yesterday, and I said, I feel like I get to cheat because I get paid to sit there and soak up this knowledge from, you know, people that
Super
are
high
being
level.
people that are being paid $60,000 a year and $25,000 a year from individuals just to be in their presence and soak up their stuff. Like I get to soak up all of this and get paid to do it. So it's really awesome. But you know, as long as your mind is open and you're constantly in that learn phase and you understand that no matter how much you know, you don't know shit. And you're constantly wanting to learn. I mean, it's just amazing. We live in a time where there's so much knowledge available to us that if you can block out the noise of society, the social media, I believe it's an amazing tool. If you use it the right way.
Double-edged sword.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can use it to empower people or make yourself feel bad about everything in yourself.
Yeah, and you have to really be strong in your own mind because it's so easy. I was telling somebody this the other day. It's so easy to do the wrong thing. It's hard to do the right thing. And so it's so easy to get sucked into, you know, gossip. It's so easy to get sucked into, you know, negativity.
And drama.
Think about this. When you go on social media, look at the videos of fights and just stupid stuff. They're shared 50,000 times, 80,000, a million times. But the videos that are actually like dropping knowledge and planting seeds in your mind, those have the least amount of shares.
Dude,
it's because we're programmed, and it's so easy to follow the herd and to do what's, I don't even like to say right or wrong, but what's easy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, what keeps you in your comfort zone. It's so crazy how it literally just stops you from doing what you really want to do.
Absolutely. You know, and you know, the problem is we think we have so much time. It's like, oh yeah, well,
I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. And next thing you know, you're 43, then you're 65, and then it's like, oh man, if I had more time, I would do X, Y, and Z. Like you've got to take advantage of that time while you have it, because the only thing we have is right now. We're planning on getting on a plane in a couple of hours.
Yep.
We may never make that plane in a couple of hours. The only thing you, I, and Dave have is this moment right now.
Yes.
And so you live in that moment and you enjoy it. Yeah, of course we have plans for, you know, the future of what we want to do, the next couple of episodes, whatever. But what we have is now, and so many people are living in either yesterday or tomorrow that they ignore what they have right now. It's like, I'll enjoy it, you know, I'll be happy when. No, you have to be happy now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't say, I'll be happy when I get the T-bone steak when you have a ribeye steak on your plate in front of you. Like, no, deal with this ribeye. If you want a T-bone later and it comes to later, you deal with that later. But you can't ask for seconds when you just got your plate of first, you know, your first plate.
Yep. Yeah, so people just constantly live in both directions of present and past.
Yes,
And
yes.
they're missing everything because they're not here.
But it's easier. That's why they do it.
is.
It's easier to say, oh my God, yesterday was so awesome, because you don't really have to do anything.
Yep.
You're just thinking about yesterday. When you're thinking about tomorrow, you don't have to do anything but just think.
Yep.
When you're in this moment, you have to take action.
Yes. Yep.
So that's why.
Yep. Yeah, man, I totally agree. So like, I feel like did you have mentors growing up? Like who like kind of guided you?
You
or
know,
did you?
I didn't really have mentors. Like I said, I was in New York. I got in a bunch of trouble. I came down here to Florida. I came to Florida. I ended up in more trouble because it was a slower pace. and one day, being totally transparent, one day what happened was, after being in trouble for years, trouble with the law, trouble with everything, I woke up one day and I said, why is my life like this? And I took a long, hard look, and I've never said this on camera. I took a long, hard look at myself and I said, the one person you swore you would never be like, you're a spitting image of him. And that's my father. And my father started going to jail at a young age. He had kids by multiple women. He was, just a total like lowlife. And I was like, wow, not only do you look like him, you followed in his steps.
Oh man, so that was like the rock bottom moment, right?
You always hear in life, it was a light bulb moment. And until you experience a light bulb moment, it just sounds like some shit that people make up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so all of a sudden
Everything
you just
changes.
said boom and
Yeah.
like, get the fuck out of here. It was a light bulb moment.
Yep.
At that point, I was like,
No more.
hell no. And in that moment, I switched and I dug into personal development, and I started going to seminars and I was like, all this energy I'm putting into the streets and doing this, like, what if I put that into business? And I shifted my mindset, and from then it was game on. And I went from, I always joke and I say, I went from being in the drug house to being at tables in corporate meetings with people that make $10 million, $50 million, $100 million a year, sitting across from them, with my arms crossed doing deals.
And it wouldn't have happened if you
it's all about mindset.
Yep.
It took that moment to happen, that light bulb moment to happen, but once it did, I didn't have, I went to ninth grade. I was in ninth grade for 2 months, and then I was too cool for school and I dropped out. Most of the times when I'm meeting with people, the conversation like, oh my God, blah, 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 you're so cool. What college did you go to? I went to the School of Hard Knocks.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But it's because the way I articulate myself, the thought process, the way I handle myself, people assume that, that came from school. And no, that just came from life. And then sharpening my skills with the tools that are available to me. And that's, like I said, just digging into personal development, going to seminar after seminar, disassociating myself. So when I made that shift, one of the things I had to realize was that, you always hear, if you keep on doing the same old things, you're going to get the same old things.
Yes.
And so I realized that the circle of influence that I had at that moment,
your environment.
I had to get away from that. If you're an alcoholic, you can't hang out at the bar with other alcoholics. You're going to end up drinking again. If you smoke crack, you can't hang out in the crack house.
Yep.
You're going to smoke crack.
Yep.
And so I had to disassociate myself with everyone that I had been dealing with. And when I did that, that's when I went into a cocoon and just started filling my brain with all sorts of personal development and stuff. In that cocoon, I truly learned who I was. Once I learned who I was, then I was able to reintroduce myself to the world and gain new
life.
friends.
Yep.
Because now, how can I be a friend to someone when I don't even know who I am? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta
and
show up
coming from that
authentically.
past world of fast pace and this, that, and everything grimy and shit, like knowing that that's not who I was anymore, I had to find myself. And now that I found who I was, it was like, okay, I can get along with those type of people. I can have those type of conversations. I enjoy those, but I don't enjoy those. Those make me feel like I want to go back in the other direction.
Yep.
I need to stay away from those people. And it's not that I'm better than anybody that I was dealing with before. It's just, we don't have anything in common anymore,
Was that a difficult transition? Or did you have like the light bulb moment was so powerful that you just like, this way, I'm just heading in the light now?
The light bulb moment was so powerful that I didn't feel it was easy for me to do it. But it was a very lonely next couple of years. Cause I literally, like, it was crazy.
You were literally in a cocoon, like changing.
You would have thought I died, like, if you knew me, cause all of a sudden I disappeared. You never heard from me no more. Like, it was like, what the, like, even to this day, sometimes when I go out and people see me that they haven't seen me in, 10, 12, 15 years, they'd be like, you're still here? I thought you left. Yeah, because I like literally, and now, unless you see me they see me like on social media or something, they have no idea I still exist because I don't go to the same places, talk to the same people. I'm like gone. But it was the best move for myself, for my family, for my children, for my future, and in me developing myself, I feel like I've been able to help and impact a lot of people's lives and show
just with your story. Just with your story.
Yes. And show a lot of people what's possible. Because if you look at statistically speaking, dude, I started going to jail when I was 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? I got tried as an adult at 16 years old. I went to prison for grown men at 17 years old. By 17, I had probably been to jail like 12 times.
Damn. I didn't even know this about Ty until yesterday. I know, because like I didn't know you were in the streets and you're like you rapped and just caused all sorts of trouble.
I literally have never shared this story on camera ever.
Oh my God.
ever. I keep saying I need to share my story, but I've never sat down to actually do it. But yeah, so statistically speaking,
you should be dead right now.
I should be dead or in jail doing a long fucking time. But it's the power of the mind, and when you make up your mind, it doesn't matter where you've been, what you've done.
Yes.
If you make up your mind that you want to do something, you can do it. It doesn't matter what it is. In order to achieve, you've got to believe. Like that's not just something I say. Like you
breathe it, you live it. It's like in your fiber of who you are now.
That's it.
That's so amazing,
and like I don't let anything stop me anymore. Like I think of all the chances that I took back in the days in the streets. And so when things stop, like when fear is natural, fear is just natural. I know speakers that speak on stage in front of, 10,000 people, and every time they're getting ready to go on stage, they are freaking nervous. They got butterflies. You're like, dude, you just spoke in front of 10,000 people last week. Doesn't matter. Fear is natural. The only thing, you can't let fear immobilize you. You acknowledge the fear. You say, okay, cool, I got it. That means I'm getting ready to do something new. That means I'm getting ready to make an impact. I got it, cool. And then you let it fuel you to go out there and do whatever it is. So I think of all the chances I took back in the streets, and it's like, dude, if I was able to do that,
you can jump on a stage.
This is easy.
It's cakewalk.
This is what?
All bonus round.
Nobody's trying to do nothing to me on this stage. I can easily do that, And so it's pretty awesome. And now, I'm because, something that I said a little while ago is I said, I never wanted to be like my father. I never want my kids to say, I don't want to be like my father.
Yeah, that would be I can't even imagine the pain that a dad would feel.
Oh my gosh. We all want our kids to be better, but I never would want my kids to be like, my father sucks. He was, whatever. And one of the biggest weights that was lifted off my chest was when I acknowledged, that my father was who he is, whatever, that's life, and I forgave him. It was I went through a Landmark training.
Oh, nice.
Okay, and in that, the one thing I got from Landmark was to forgive, and it was such an emotional moment. I went outside, I cried, and this, that, and the third. I called him, and I went off on him, and I said, but I forgive you. In that moment, it was like, poof.
Release of so much weight.
Yes.
So much weight.
Yeah. And then that's been it ever since.
And you guys are cool now.
Yeah, we talk every once in a while. He just is who he is. You know what I'm saying? People are who they are.
But now you can feel grateful for him.
Absolutely.
For like doing it. He had to do it that way for you to turn out this way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's incredible, man. So what would you say to people that are that are really struggling? They understand. They see everybody else doing it. Like, what is a person that doesn't believe in themselves? Like, what are some actionable steps they can take? Because I'm sure they feel inspired by everything you're saying. But
Yeah.
they're probably like, oh, he's different than me.
Listen,
You know?
all of us are the same. Nobody's any different. You really just have to get to the point where you say enough is enough. I don't know how much time I have, but with the time I have, I want to be the best me that I can be, and really immerse yourself in the personal development. See, if you watch, let's say, a YouTube video that's 15 minutes, and you feel good during that 15 minutes, and then you go binge watch, Housewives, no disrespect to them, or just something that's, not conducive to the lifestyle that you want to create.
Yeah, for your highest self.
If you have this much good, but you're gonna put this much bad in after, you gotta understand that it's gonna take that much longer for it to, so you've gotta drink this much good, and then you go binge watch or whatever. And so you've got to just really pour it into yourself and live that. And then the people that you surround yourself with, that's major.
Yep.
That is so major, because when I realized I had to not only disassociate myself with people out there, but sometimes people closest to you.
Yep.
I get on the phone with my mom, no disrespect to her, but my mom is one of the most negative people in the world. When I get on the phone with her, all she wants to do is tell me how bad this is, that is, this is, that is, that is. So I stop her and I'll say, but tell me what good happened today. And I interject. So you have to really be careful of the people, the conversations that you allow yourself to get into, what you're putting into your mind.
Yes.
Yep. And speak as if. Have those, when you...
Speaking into existence. That's the thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, speaking into existence. So when you learn something, say you're watching a YouTube video and it's really inspirational to you and you get something from it, take one of the points that you learn from it and then digest it into a point where you want to go back and teach it to someone. Right? So find a way that you can use that. Like a lot of times, people will say, I know people that read the dictionary. And so what they'll do is they'll learn 2 new words a day and then find many instances where they can use those words throughout the day. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Where they can use that, because then it becomes part of their natural language. And so the same thing, if you watch or read a book or whatever it is, I say watch because that's how I learn best. I can read, I just don't like to read. My mind's like squirrel. So anyway, listen to, read, listen, whatever, and then find a couple of points throughout the day where you can turn around and teach what you learned to someone else.
Yes.
And then what ends up happening is you'll realize you're speaking different. You're speaking positive, where maybe and you'll know it because people come to you and be like, what are you talking about? I like that, but you don't normally talk like that. And then you'll know you're on your way, and just keep doing it. And don't get me wrong. We're all going to fall. We're going to backslide. Even to this day, I'll find myself sometimes in conversations and I'll end up getting into gossip, but I catch myself quicker.
Having that discernment. Right?
In the second I catch myself, I'll say, Ty, that's not you. What the hell are you doing?
Yep.
And it'll be like I'm bipolar, because we'll be in the midst of a conversation and then I instantly switch it.
Yep. Let's talk about something else.
Sometimes I won't even say it. I'll just bring up something else. And it'll be like, what just happened? I'm changing. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, just having that, just focus on understanding what is swaying you in the right direction and then what isn't, right? Yeah, but back to the speaking into existence, right? So at first, when someone wants to do something, they say it and they don't believe that it actually is possible, right? But as you keep talking and sharing with others and keep feeling inspired, you're literally calling it, universe is rearranging itself as you are saying it, right? Because we were filming our show and Ty was talking about his Pumas and he's like, yeah, we're gonna get sponsored by Puma. And he's just saying it, but you actually believe it.
I do believe it.
And if the fact that you actually believe it is actually law of attraction is kind of bringing it to you.
Absolutely.
Because you're saying it as if it already is.
Yeah. I truly believe that the universe, whatever anybody wants to call it, universe, God, whatever, is always listening. And whether you're putting good or bad out there, it's like a boomerang and it'll come back. And so what he was talking about, I had, my Pumas on yesterday, and as we're filming this show, I'm like, man, why it would be cool if Puma sponsored it. Why Puma? I have no idea. I don't even like wear Pumas like that. It just was a thought in my mind. And what I've learned is that when thoughts come to you, like instead of questioning why, like just go with it. It came to you for a reason, especially if it's not nothing negative. It's like, okay, so I'm like, Puma's gonna sponsor the show. Why? I don't know. It just came to me. I gotta wear shoes anyway, right? So why not put Pumas in there? And what if they do sponsor the show? And me personally, I believe they will.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yep.
And
if
then
they
don't,
you have no expectation. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you're just like, whatever. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But
absolutely. I gotta wear shoes anyway, right? I mean, unless you're like Gabe, you can take off your shoes. Actually, he got me taking off mine too.
Can I wear
look.
You got Puma socks.
I even got Puma socks.
Hey Puma, if you're watching this podcast, I need a sponsor too.
Hashtag Puma.
So good, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. Like, I had no idea that you came from that background.
Yeah.
So like to see that, just to know that you came from that and where you are now, because I just thought you were just always an inspiring guy.
Yeah.
And like this guy has just been high vibes. His parents probably raised him in a very inspiring environment. Yeah. Like, damn. And just for you to like switch from the darkness to the light and then download that to your children and like break that family
cycle.
Karma. Yeah, you're right. Like, and just not wanting that for your children and the future generation.
Absolutely.
That is like so inspiring, man.
Yeah, man. It's you know, if we don't teach our children, you know, the streets will. You know, and that's, I had a great family growing up. They did everything to try and keep me away from it. For whatever reason, I was drawn to it. And I don't take back any of that stuff. Like, it is what it is.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it was fun in the mind frame that I was at the time.
Yep. For who you were in the moment.
For who I was at that time, that was the most fun for me, all of it. But like now, I can't even think of doing any of that stuff that I was doing. Like, it doesn't even resonate. Like, why would I do that?
Mm-hmm. It's like a different lifetime, right? You don't even recognize who that was.
Totally. But it shifted me into the person that I am. And like I said, now I can sit across and negotiate with anybody. I mean, you know, some of the size deals that I negotiate, it's just like, when I sit back and think about it, it's like, dude, do you know what you're doing right now? Like, holy shit.
You're just going with it.
And I don't hide nothing from nobody, but most people, that like, did you think any of that of me, like from my past?
No.
Like, would you have thought that? Most people don't. You see what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it's just, my thing is like this. I started this, you know, I wear a bracelet that says, I believe.
I need one of those.
I know, I wish I would have bought you some, but I will mail you some when I get back. And the whole purpose of this was, you know, years ago you had the Lance Armstrong Live Strong bracelet. And I saw that, and it was crazy because it was like, live strong, it had a meaning to it, people got behind the meaning, and it showed me that hundreds of millions of people, because I think there's like 300 million bands sold, hundreds of millions of people will wear a silicone bracelet if it has meaning, even if it's bright yellow.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So my thing was always, you know, believe. I believe that I believe are the two strongest words in existence, because what comes after that will either help or hinder you in life.
Yep. And
so I came up with the idea. I designed this bracelet. It's really like, you know, like 3D, it's raised writing and stuff like that. And it's really cool. And I had a mission that I was gonna inspire people to believe in themselves. And I was at a Spartan race, and there was this guy that was running, and he, you know, I don't know what weight looks like, but he was very, very overweight. Come to find out, he was 696 pounds. So he's running, walking this, you know, damn near crawling this Spartan race. And I'm running, and I saw him, and I was like, holy shit. And he had a team that was helping him and coaching him and all that. So I'm done. All of a sudden, I see him come through later on, and I walk up to him, and I'm like, listen, dude. I was like, man, I'm really inspired by you. And I gave him a Believe bracelet. So his arms are real big. He couldn't wear it or whatever, but he took it, and he had this chain, and he put it on his chain. So fast forward, as I'm watching the Spartan races, you know, 6 months later, I always see this guy, and he's always got the bracelet on his neck.
Cool.
So I was like, wow, that was awesome. Next thing you know, it's about a year later, I see him, and it's on his wrist.
Because it fits now. Oh, God, it's so cool.
So I'm watching. Now it's probably about 6 or 7 races that have passed, and every time I see him, he's got it. I see one, and he doesn't have it on, so I reach out to him, and I was like, hey, Chris, you probably don't remember me, but I gave you this bracelet, and I noticed you didn't have it on. And he was like, oh, my God, Thank you for reaching out to me. He was like, dude, it broke during the last race. He goes, and I really, for a second, thought I could not make it. He said, that bracelet, you have no idea the inspiration it does. He said, I wear it all the time. He said, when I would open the refrigerator, I would look at my wrist.
Yep.
And when I opened the refrigerator, this would be a reminder to come out with something good that supports what I'm going to do with my lifestyle versus something bad. And it was at that point, it was like, holy shit, this is like real. It's really inspiring people. To this day, I have so many, you know, what's her name? Casey?
Yeah.
Reality show. What was the show?
Big Brother.
Big Brother. Casey, the girl that won last year, the Spanish Asian, I think she's gay. She was the first open lesbian on the Big Brother. If you watch from the beginning of season 21, I think that was, to the end, Casey wore this bracelet every episode, and they would zoom in on it. But here's the thing. It wasn't a gimmick thing. You go to her Instagram, since 2014, she's been wearing the bracelet. You go on Instagram, Facebook, you see pictures from back then. I keep saying, and I'll probably bring you in on that, I want to go do a story on her.
Yes.
What is it about that bracelet that has made you wear it from 2014 and you wore it through Big Brother? She obviously believes in herself.
Yes.
And look what happened. She won.
Damn. That's amazing. Like just being able to impact someone with a silicone bracelet, right?
Listen, it's an inanimate object.
Yes.
If you sit it there, like this bottle of water will do absolutely nothing. I guess it'll evaporate with light or whatever, but this phone will do absolutely nothing, right? Okay, this is the example I give people. So you have a wedding ring. This is not a wedding ring. This is just a ring I wear. But say you have a wedding ring and it's on this hand. Your wife gave it to you. And it means, you know, that you will love and cherish and protect her for life, whatever. Yep. It has meaning. You go to the bathroom, you wash your hands, you take it off, you forget, you leave. Oh my God, my wedding ring's gone. You get a pain in your heart. You walk a couple steps and you're in a different town and you look down and you find the exact same ring. The exact same ring. You put it on. It's not the same. You know why? Because it's not the ring that your wife gave you. It does not have the same meaning.
The meaning,
It could be the same, but it doesn't have the same meaning. And so the point in that is, when you put meaning to something, that's where the power comes from.
Yes.
And so although this bracelet is an inanimate object, when you look and you say, I believe what? I believe I'm strong enough. I believe I'm wise enough. I believe I'm smart enough. I believe I'm good enough. And you truly put that meaning to it. I tell people it's the silent coach when you need it most.
Yes. Oh, that's so dope.
When you're sitting out in front of a sales meeting, you know, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go in. I got to get this deal. I got to do this presentation. Just look down and think about it. You know what? I believe I'm smart enough. I believe I've got all the knowledge that it takes to get this done. You know, if you want to use it, you want to go talk to her. All right, I'm going on this date. I believe she's going to like me. I'm going to be funny. You know, I just got to be myself. I believe in myself enough.
And that belief changes the whole situation.
Everything.
It changes all your results.
Well, here's the thing. If you don't believe, you're not going to put forth the action that it takes to accomplish whatever the goal is.
Yep, and it's just default. And whatever is around you, you just become whatever.
But when you believe, you will take action to do whatever it is. And the action, we were talking about imperfect action. At least you take action.
Yep, you're moving towards it as opposed to away from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's so dope, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all the inspiration.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And I hope that you guys out there that don't quite fully believe in yourselves can have a seed within you from Ty sharing his story. Because you're supposed to create the best life. You're meant to have everything. There's so much abundance for everyone. There's like anything you want to do with this life, you can. Yes. And once you believe, that's all you need to do, right?
That's it. Believe. Okay, so if you just believe and sit here and say, I believe I'm going to win the lotto, but you don't go to the store and buy a ticket, and then you don't check your ticket, guess what? You can believe till the freaking cows come home. Ain't shit going to happen.
Yep.
Believe that you can. Believe that you are good enough, you're smart enough, you're funny enough, you're wise enough, whatever it is, and then go take action.
Yes. Yep. It's like the applied knowledge is power.
Yes.
You can know everything, and if you don't do anything, it's actually useless.
Useless.
Yep.
Useless. So believe in yourself and then go out there and take fucking action.
Yes. Perfect.
That's it.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Bam.
We got a flight to catch. I hope
That's
you guys
it.
got some good nuggets from it. I'll put Ty's information in the description of this podcast, and you guys should go follow him because he's always just like dropping inspiration and just trying to lift everybody up. And I really appreciate that you're in my life.
Man, I appreciate you, brother.
And I'm really excited
Seriously.
for what we're going to create together. We're going to make some content that's really going to shift the network marketing industry, and it's just going to inspire so many people. So
Yes.
be excited, believe in yourself, consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.
And what do I always say at the end of my videos?
Bam.
In order to achieve, you've got to believe.
Bam.
Bam.
See you guys.